Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about how we can go about simplifying expressions with rational exponents. Okay, so this is going back to our properties of exponents. So let's get into it. So notice here that we have the same base here. We have a base of 25, right? And we're multiplying here. Okay, so remember, okay, back in Algebra 1 when you're dealing with properties of exponents, when you have the same base, which we do, and we're multiplying, remember what we do with the exponents, right? We add them. And in this case, since both our exponents are fractions and they have the same denominator, we can go ahead and just add right across. So we're going to add the numerators. So what we're going to have here is 25, and then 3 plus 2 is going to be 5, and we'll have 5 over 5. But we know 5 over 5 is just going to be 1, so 25 to the first power, or our answer here is just going to be 25. Okay? So that will be our final answer here, 25. All right, let's try another example. Okay. So we have the following: 8 to the 1/3 power, all over. We'll have 8 to the 2/3 power. So again here, we are dealing with the same base, right? We have a base of 8. But the only difference now is we are dividing, not multiplying. So again, recall your properties of exponents when we're dealing with the same base. Okay? When we divide, we're going to subtract the exponents, right? It's opposite of multiplication. When we multiply, we add. When we divide, we subtract. Okay? So again, this one's going to work out really nice because we had the same denominator here and here. So we're just going to subtract the numerator. So we're going to do 1 minus 2. Okay? And what are we going to get there? So if we do 1 minus 2, we get the following. You will get 8 to the negative 1/3 power. Right? Now you may be saying, okay, well, I'm done here. Well, let's think about this. How can we go a little bit further? So again, recall your properties of exponents. If we have a negative exponent, how can we rewrite that? Right? Well, we would put it in the denominator, right? This is really 8 and negative 1/3 over 1. Okay? So if we're dealing with a negative exponent, which we are, this whole thing will get moved to the denominator and it will make the exponent positive. So for example, okay, we can rewrite this as 1 over, right, 8 to the 1/3 power, right? We can rearrange. Again, that's going back to the properties of exponents. So now it's positive because now it's in the denominator, right? Again, just to be clear here, these are equivalent, right? These are exactly the same, just rewritten differently. Okay, so they're equivalent. All right. So at this point, we know that this is going to be a cubed root, so let's put it back into a radical. So I'm going to write it down here. We'll have 8 over the cubed root. So 1 over the cubed root of 8. All right, and then what number times itself 3 times will be 8? Well, that's going to be 2. So our final answer here is going to be 1 over 2, or a half. All right. And that is going to be our final answer. All right, let's try a few more. So our next one will have 36 to 3 over 8 times 36, and we'll have 1 to the 8th power. Okay, so again, same base, we're multiplying, dealing with exponents, so we add. So when we add the exponents here, we get the following: 36, and this will be 4 over 8, right? Which will just be 36, okay? And we can reduce this, so this will be a half, okay? Can we go a little bit further here? So think about it, can we go further? Well, remember what this really is. We can rewrite this as a radical, right? So we'd have the square root of 36, right? And we know that the square root of 36 is going to simply be here 6. And recall that when you take the square root, it's plus or minus. However, look at what it came from. We're not dealing with any negative here, right? So it wouldn't make sense mathematically for our answer to be negative, right? We're multiplying 2 positives, so how can you get a negative, right? So even though the square root of 36 is plus or minus 6, you're just going to use 6 here. Okay, so your answer here is going to be 6. Okay, let's try another example. So we're going to have negative 8 all to the 1/3, and this 1/3 is going to be negative, okay? So this one's a little bit trickier, so think about how we can go about rewriting this. Well, again, we're dealing with a negative exponent, so think about how you can rewrite that. We can bring this whole thing down to the denominator, and if we do that, we will make this exponent positive. All right, so what we'll have is 1 over negative 8 to the 1/3. Okay? Let's put this into its radical form, so we'll have 1 over the cubed root of negative 8. What number, when we multiply by itself 3 times, will give us negative 8? Well, that's going to be negative 2, right? Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. So our final answer here is going to be negative 1/2. Okay, and that is going to be our final answer. Let's try one more problem and that will be it. We'll have 5, and then we'll do 9 over 4. So 9 over 4 all over 5. And we'll do 1/4 here. 1/4. So again, same base, we're dividing, so remember your properties of exponents. If we're dividing and we have the same base, we're going to subtract. So this works out very nice because we have the same denominator, so 9 minus 1 is going to be 8, so we're going to have 5 all over 8 over 4, right? And we know that 8 divided by 4 here is going to be 2, so 5 to the 2nd power, or just 25. Okay, so our final answer here will be 25. All right, and that is it.